Coming up tonight on YCN News, two contrasting views from the federal courts of appeals ruling issued today has again muddied the waters surrounding the 2010 Affordable Care Act. A New Hampshire native receives the nation's highest honor for military valor. And piles of gray cement blocks are all that is left of the outdoor John McClane Clark Pool off Veterans Park Road in Claremont. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCN, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening and welcome to this Tuesday edition of YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Affordable health care and medical insurance, sponsored in part or whole by the federal government, is a contentious issue dating back decades. Now, two contrasting views from the federal courts of appeals ruling issued today has again muddied the waters surrounding the 2010 Affordable Care Act. The rulings center on whether people who bought insurance in states that relied on the federal government to set up its health care exchange are eligible for subsidies. These subsidies reduce the cost per month that a person pays for health insurance. New Hampshire did not set up its own exchange or marketplace, as did Vermont. Instead, New Hampshire, along with 35 other states, relied on the federal government to set up the program through which insurance shoppers buy health care plans. For New Hampshire and Vermont residents, this does not mean anything will change at the moment regarding subsidies or the monthly plan cost. The appeals court rulings come from a panel in Washington, D.C. and a panel in Richmond, Virginia, the Associated Press reports. The three judges in D.C. ruled 2-1 that the subsidies are for plan holders in states such as Vermont that set up their own exchange. On the flip side, the three judges in Richmond determined the Internal Revenue Service correctly followed Congress's interpretation of the ACA, the act being upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court in 2012. In the Richmond ruling, residents in all 50 states are eligible for subsidies. In other healthcare news, New Hampshire and two other New England states rank high in overall child well-being. In its annual and well-followed Annie E. Casey Foundation Kids Count data book, New Hampshire ranked 4th this year. Massachusetts, Vermont, and Iowa are number 1 and 2 and 3, respectively. Minnesota is number 5. The report ranks the state by economic, education, healthcare, and family and community standing to determine its overall standing. The bottom 5 states are, beginning with 46, Arizona, Louisiana, Nevada, New Mexico, and Mississippi. To view a copy of the 2014 report and to learn more about the foundation, go to www.aecf.org. On the Annie E. Casey report, New Hampshire Governor Maggie Hassan says the state continues to outperform most other states, yet more can be done to improve families' economic security. Over the past 19 months, Hassan says significant bipartisan progress to create good jobs for working class and middle class residents. These gains, along with the state's lowest unemployment rate since 2008, include Medicaid expansion and freezing tuition at New Hampshire's university system. Also, reducing costs to attend any of the state's 7 community colleges. Hassan says restoring a state minimum wage for New Hampshire and raising it also needs to be done to improve residents' economic health. To compare the Twin States, in April, New Hampshire's unemployment rate was 4.4%, compared to Vermont's 3.3%. New Hampshire's population is 1.4 million, compared to Vermont, which comes in at 663,000. A New Hampshire native received the nation's highest honor for military valor yesterday. Staff Sergeant Ryan Pitts of Nashua was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor in a White House ceremony. Members of the state's congressional delegation attended, along with family members, watching as President Barack Obama draped the medal hanging from a light blue ribbon around Pitts' neck. Pitts becomes the 9th living recipient of the Medal of Honor, awarded for combat actions in Iraq or Afghanistan. His award stems from his refusal to leave the battlefield during an intense 2008 fight in Afghanistan. Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. As summer continues to unfold, farmers across New Hampshire and Vermont are opening the Pick Your Own seasons, where fruits are available to be plucked from the branches of local growers. Today, I journeyed across the Connecticut River to explore a field of blueberries nestled amongst the Green Mountains. Let's take a look at my visit. I'm here at the Baker Road Blueberry Farm in Springfield, Vermont, which is just one of many locations located in New Hampshire and Vermont where all are welcome to pick their own blueberries. I decided that today is a beautiful day and that I should get out and see what it's like to pick my own fresh fruit. Many farms have been opening up for the past 2 weeks, their blueberry season. You can find the Baker Road Blueberry Farm at 107 Baker Road in Springfield, Vermont. To look for other Pick Your Own farms in Vermont, go to www.pickyourown.org/VT. And if you're looking for spots in New Hampshire, go to www.nh.com/pickyourown. In other southeastern Vermont news, it soon will cost bus riders who rely on the Connecticut River Transit to get around Bellows Falls and Springfield, the Eagle Times reports. 6 of the routes covered by the fleet will change from a voluntary donation to ride to a set fare. Fares will become effective August 4th. For about the last 10 years, it has been almost free for riders depending on how much a person contributed. To offset costs, a fare now must be charged. Piles of gray cement blocks are all that is left of the outdoor John McClane Clark Pool off Veterans Park Road in Claremont. City councilors unanimously voted earlier this spring to go ahead with the pool's demolition after a report from a consultant hired by the city said it would cost about $400,000 to repair the pool's water leaks. The Boston-based consultant told councilors and a group of residents advocating for the pool's preservation that the 63-year-old pool had outlived its usefulness. Over the last several days, including today, demolition continues. Charlestown-based Twin State Property Development and Maintenance got the bid for the outdoor pool demolition for $20,000. In the span of 2 weeks, Lebanon school board members have filled 2 leadership positions in its school district. The newest hire includes a new high school principal. Board members offered Tom Marshall a 1-year contract as principal of Lebanon High, the Valley News reports. Yesterday was Marshall's first day on the job. He'll earn $90,000 a year. 54-year-old Marshall comes to Lebanon by way of Newbury, Vermont, where he lives. Marshall's experience as a school principal includes 6 years at Oxbow High School in Bradford, Vermont, his last administrative post. His career in education spans 20 years in Vermont. Marshall completed paperwork needed to be a certified principal in New Hampshire last week. Last week, new Lebanon District Business Administrator Tim Ball began work. Ball replaces Jim Finn as SAU 88's business administrator. Ball comes to Lebanon from SAU 6 based in Claremont. Yet to be hired is a new school superintendent. Gail Paludi retired as district superintendent this spring. Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Now, Matt McDonald will have a look at our weather for the next few days and then move on to sports.
Thanks, Rose. Today we have a 30% chance of rain and scattered showers. Skies are mostly sunny with a high of 88 degrees and winds up to 10 miles per hour. Tonight we'll have patchy fog after midnight with otherwise clear skies and lows in the 60s. Tomorrow morning will be foggy before 9 a.m. with otherwise cloudy skies. We have a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms after 3 p.m. and highs will be in the upper 80s. Winds will reach up to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night we have a 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms before 2 a.m. Some storms could produce large hail and damaging winds. Skies will be cloudy with lows around 62 degrees. Thursday will be partly sunny with a high of 78 degrees. Thursday night will have partly cloudy skies with lows in the 50s. Some of these surrounding storms are expected to pass close by us on Wednesday. They may bring possible severe thunderstorms. We will be on the lookout as these storms develop. Now let's see what's coming up on our community calendar. Tomorrow in Woodstock, Vermont, the Market on the Green will begin at 3 p.m. In Danbury, New Hampshire, the Select Board will meet at 6 p.m. In White River Junction, Vermont, the Dave Keller Band will perform at 6:30 p.m. in Lyman Point Park. Remember, you can submit local events from your community by sending them to news@ycnnow.com. Turning to sports, the Shrine Maple Sugar Bowl is approaching. On August 2nd, top high school athletes from Vermont and New Hampshire who have graduated this year will compete against each other in an exciting game of skill. YCN will keep you reminded of this highly anticipated football game as the event draws closer. Also in sports news, we have some Fisher Cats updates. The Fisher Cats played 2 games last night against Trenton. One was a regularly scheduled game in which the Cats lost to a 4-1 final score. The second game was a makeup game from July 4th. Sadly, the Fisher Cats lost this game as well. The final score was 8-5. Tonight and Wednesday are the last 2 games with Trenton in the series. YCN will bring you the results from these games later in the week.